It's James Murray. We're in the Net News Ledger News Studio. I'm here with Mayor Hobbs. Nice suit.
Thanks, James. I usually dress up, but today I had training, last 2 days actually, emergency preparedness training. So I kind of dressed down and it feels good.
A little bit casual, but it's the end of August and it's hot out again finally today. You were also busy last week. On a more serious note, you were at the Association of Municipalities of Ontario. What were you working on there?
All kinds of issues, James. First and foremost, we met with Minister McMeekin from Municipal Affairs and Housing, speaking about that very issue, housing and homelessness in the city of Thunder Bay and the region, but in particular in Thunder Bay. And that was the thrust of us going down to AMO this year, was to try and get that issue resolved. And that's an uphill battle, I'll tell you.
It is. You see the impact of a shortage of rental units, a shortage of affordable housing in Thunder Bay, excuse me, and it leads to people literally on the streets.
Yeah, I mean, I do my walkabouts. The last one I went on with you, actually, we were sidestepping and stepping over people sleeping in bushes, in the grass, in the deep grass, under vehicles, and 5 people on a park bench, and it's not a good situation. We have our programs like SOS, we have the shelter house, we have the alcohol management program, we have, the detox center, and, we have those programs, but it's not enough. It's not nearly enough. And my big thing at AMO, and I'm on a rant, I've drawn a line in the sand. The feds in the province need to come to the party and to the table with funding for municipalities, so that we can maybe use underutilized buildings, we can do capital projects and house people that need it.
The issues that surround the housing issue, you're right, the federal government has distanced themselves.
They're getting out of the business.
And the province, are they talking a good game, or do you think we're really going to get some action?
Well, the Premier has committed to eradicating homelessness, which is great, but when we met with Minister McMeekin, I advised him about Medicine Hat, and I spoke to the Mayor of Medicine Hat. He received $30 million in funding from the province for capital, and $2 to $3 million year over year for operating funds, and they're a city of 60,000 people. So all things being equal, Thunder Bay should get $60 million and $5 to $6 million year over year for operating funds. And if I had those kinds of funds, if our council had access to that kind of funding from the province, we could do what Mayor Clugston has done in Medicine Hat. When I asked Minister McMeekin where those funds are, he said, well, we're in the planning stage. We're doing a 6-month planning session, but there's no money.
So the message from the province of Ontario to homeless people in Thunder Bay is see you in the spring.
Basically that's what I'm hearing, and the message to municipalities is we don't have any funding to give to you, so you're on the hook for it. And that's downloading at its best. And today I had an interview with CBC, and I kind of drew the line in the sand, and excuse me, I don't know that I can say it, but I said on CBC, but it's time for the province and the feds to shit or get off the pot. And I love that saying. I haven't used it for a lot of years, and I know I shouldn't use it publicly, but that's the bottom line, James. They have to start coming to the table with funds for municipalities so that we can do what Mayor Clugston did in Medicine Hat. And if they do come to the party countrywide, if the feds come to the party countrywide and do what they did in Medicine Hat, then you can do it across Canada. And it's something that's achievable. You just have the will to do it. We're all we hear about is Mike Duffy and $90,000 theft. And you know what? We need to concentrate on more things than that.
So is the city doing anything federally during the election to put the word out to the candidates and seek something? Or?
Well, I put out publicly that I'm going to support the candidate that's going to address these 2 issues, homelessness and housing, because I think that's the #1 priority in the city of Thunder Bay. People give me heck all the time for fighting for an event center, and I always look at each file. The event center is one file, homelessness, housing is another file, infrastructure is another file. So you try and fill those pots with money, and I'm still after that event center. Moncton just announced last night they're getting one, and we brought that to the table at AMO as well. Moncton got federal dollars. It was a shell game. They got infrastructure money so they could put other money that they had set aside to their event center. Well, bottom line is they got federal money for the event center, and they have a professional team coming in from the Quebec Major Junior Hockey League. So, and they've done it with the Horton Center, Tim Horton Center in Hamilton. They do fund professional sports, whether they like it or not.
Well, you keep seeing the Prime Minister at NHL games.
Yeah, you know, we're going to keep hammering away at it because I'm still looking at that as an economic driver. But first and foremost, homelessness, housing, if we can address that issue. When you address that issue, you're also addressing alcohol and drug addictions. And I talked today to CBC, and I talked about Leaders and Legacies group about a basic income for people. And I think that's a good start. If someone that's running for MP or the Prime Minister wants to talk about basic income, I think that's a good start as well. People feel worthy and they have some worth, and they have a house to live in. That's a start to getting help for those addictions. Once we get people into housing, that's what the next step to work on is those other programs.
Mayor Hobbs, thank you again.
Thanks a lot, James. Always a pleasure.
Always good to talk to the media in Thunder Bay.
Yeah, for sure.
Thank you.